Hi, we've been talking about the words that we are still affected by popularity and popularity is so important. Previously, we talking about the words that they might really we want into how our brands are set up and even how our DNA responds and is expressed. But I want to move on be talking a little bit about how popularity is affecting each and every one of us actually. Fourth, a time a day. Specifically, we're going to talk about how you expressing this popularity when you very good effect. A lot of the boys there think about of social experiments. But before we do that, I'd like to watch this video. Just watch the video and you're going to be asked to see a little bit about that you saw in this video. So much carefully. So what we're going to talk about now what means duty by sociologist. For many years and is reverted to a social information processing. Nick Rick and Ken Dorks were among the first to develop a model. This really a way of talking everything social experiments you have and zooming into super slow mode. So if you were to do and think about all of them little unconscious process that you happen between the moment that you saw something and the moment that you respond, your world remains thin up and a new different sleep. So the first thing that happens is an iron event. This could be a big event like someone break up with you, or could be time little event like you're walking through a group and someone nods at you. When a sample is done on that order for us to respond to the event, there are many little steps that happen and the first one is was or not the encode the event. So for instance, if you were talking through a crowd and someone nodded at you, you might not even notice it. You might be looking at somebody else or you might be looking up one answering emails. Or you might be assuming that no one is interested in looking at you. So we don't really even attend to what happens. It's very common for professors to talk about taking in the class and whether there's nothing all on the students that are looking at them and think of nothing. On the students that looking at them, nothing they really think focus on just the students they are looking down and cruelly doing Facebook while they're looking and that they really great exams on Q including the idea that they tend to even just notice something more the other and actually don't ever see their other thing on the visual fields at all. Well, once we see something and we include something and we say that our brain says brother to some things to us, then we have to interpret what is that the woman seen of her or felt and we call that Q integrated. And there are many different ways that we might interpret what is that we've just encoded. And we talk about them more in just a second. Well, after we integrating something, then again, really fast, including we don't ever realize that we're doing in the this is why they go. What are they hoping to insist this particular situation? And that becomes an important step to goal clarifical on the have a goal the same by a very of possible thing that we call to the report. We select one this report accounts of price as we not even everywhere doing can there we follow rules on the with report writing. So on the words we take this to act of the that we say the do that they wanted today. And once we report then after production a new event. So for extents on this all starting by someone nodding on you and difficult to work this might little when warming. Um if you decide intending to do something right or then make did some sort of everywhere in world start a whole new cooks. Well, all this happens based on all your press experiences, so everything experience that we've had socially is stored is a database. And single actual good brain research to say that we look of how people respond to think of is involved in centers of your brain involved on biographic memory, so we very frequently driving upon this or expresses particularly as a turned out express with popularity as a way to understand how every social experiment happens to the very single day to day. And some way we think about the steps very explicit. We'll talk about this second part first. Let's talk about that example. This I meet see this play out and going to slow you read different pretend people and how they might respond to a similar event. So for a study might be someone walk by to look at you, they smile and they single a little bit. Will make things size and sidestep the first person we look at they say I just saw a person light feet at me. Okay, to the because on the database they really have to the lighting. The second person might say, I just saw a person like you contacts and smile. So that it really remembers the language as much. The students show that you ask them let them. The meet not even recall that happened on the meet, not even notice it. But they really noticing the you contact and the smile. And the third person maybe the kind of person that does believe that anyone will ever smile at them have a little time or research or feeling that never noticed by another their students show less likely to notice than people do like of them, so they might not ever notice anybody. Well, the next step that will happen is that you interpret it. So the first person might say, I think that person was making fun of me. I assume them king of language, and my automatic do the thing I imitate might. Excuse me that is thing they were teaching my son to. But maybe the second person working was really not thinking on eye contact and the smile meant interpret that by saying of this maybe the person refused to meet me and of course the first person they didn't even see anybody. What problem say was person? I don't even know what you're talking about your friend and then the text will be go grateful through or believe that someone just did you. The first person might say, well, in this situation, I want to access my dominant. I really want to make sure people don't tease me. They now think, no, the king or person right, so really. But even that was so maybe this goal. Good by know someone else might so I'll be I'm actually sad. That sees me and little bit brightened or feel really impressive. Of depresses going to go withdraw. I really want to get out of this situation. There might be a different goal. The second person who solves the exact same event and something they had to the voice between my so of who they simply do not about that from so that my behavior to situation so freeze goals allows to worry for possible response and automatically in our brave making this of scan all the things we don't in this question before and think about all the things this may might be able to do. So in thinking of the possible response the first person might say well I called for everyone and the person. I called please I want them you know of you can like to intrude with me. I'll call through something of them on something like them. While the second person who think I'm being short meets. And my goal really is to do and get that off and this. They may talk with that person and give them a small back. They may scream out to them oh eh or they might to hand them the number of that they want to text them or something like that. So usually after scan of the possible thing we can go with some of every response. We decide okay person number that says I'm go to the violet book. Person number two might say well decides I school just smile of them. This best way behind it. Interested just because we decide or was is that we're going to do that does mean that actual what we do. A lot of has really good interprets to do a center this but then we school to quiz comes a little bit different than express. So the person that decides to ignore the book might also scream out one time said. Whereas the second person might decide to smile back or to also say something like your host going of something that said. So all this tip the happened really question it was interesting in the really was at the same school because the expressive were before the school, the expressive popularity was the learning in the country how people will include think who they will interesting thing in the so what goals they make they respond their concert selection as when act all based on how popular they were as young kids the creatures temporal a voice interesting with the working can often is there often a day. Something that think about this very verses and very specifically so for a state magazine you go on the first day. There may be solved or ship steps they very debate about and demanded about forever. What do they mean by the text, and does that mean they like me, and do we like me? What should I do? Should I say that back? Should I put a little emotion? And does the seem truth to heart? All of them aware that we think very specifically about these steps and every obsess sometimes, and that show us that we really are engaging in this step. But remember, most of the time it's happening out in peace is every release them. So her expense before I asked to watch a little video. The video had a box, and around the box there were three curls of different colors. I won't be been perfectly approaching to respond to that video, but you saw various curls and above. What most is not anthropomorphic the videos that tend to see a story. What the story we see the way what is interpreted the stimulus tells is a lot about ourselves. I have shown this video to many people of the year, and I want to give you three experiences of what the people will when they ask you to do the excellent thing about. I just ask you to watch the video and just what you saw. So for instance, some people will say in a more cultural world than some is the currently original on the learn and the blue could follow the red text green for follower and every game to their lead. Blue was very for begin that was let everything the square because to do inclusion before we got through. For a state another person said that a blue course went around the big course one the stupid they pictured of the green curl. One thick curl went around the monsters on finally went and grew interesting and closer they do. This person monstrous person look who this contact with books that say something they Eisenbauer a lot less inclusive. What they said was a blue source force is my into the boxes around the blue circles around the red and green curves. Red and green run on close and enter and blue on the blue. Here's one blue forces is one the room with green and red, blue and green bumpers